Watermark's Church Leadership Podcast, a conversation with church leaders for church leaders. I'm your host, John McGee. Thanks so much for joining us today. Well, hey friends, this is the last episode of the year. And I wanted you to know it has been an absolute joy to serve you, to pray for you, to plan for you. We've seen this podcast downloaded in over 150 countries this year, which is so fun. And I know many of the people who listen. They're pastors who are doing really amazing things, people who are leading and serving in nonprofits, business leaders who are chasing things that are much, much bigger than the bottom line. And one of the things that's really common of everybody who listens to this podcast is that they are living their lives in service of others, service to Christ and service of others. And I just wanted to say thanks. And so I don't know if anybody's looked you in the eye recently and told you, but I just wanted to tell you thank you for what you've done. And thank you for the things that you've done publicly, the talks you've given, the programs and things that you've created and brought to life, for the hard, thoughtful decisions you've made, maybe the ways that you were misunderstood at times this year. I think about that quote often: leadership is a commitment to being misunderstood. And you've done things that are the best for others and for your organization that maybe people didn't like, and they didn't tell you thank you. I just want to say thanks. Thanks for working on yourself, for not just being okay with what you know and who you are, but always trying to get better, always learning, always growing in the ways that's inspired other people and really made you more effective at whatever it is that God's given you to do. And I think if I really wanted to highlight something, I want to say thanks for all the things you did that no one else saw. And I used to think about leadership as being primarily above the waterline, that things that people would see and people that would notice. And what I've realized is most of leadership is lived below the waterline. It's those conversations that are just one-on-one, that are little micro interactions that you could have or not have, but you chose to have. And you listened with empathy. It's the emails that you wrote that one person saw. It's the people that you prayed for that you didn't even let them know that you did pray for them. It's the things you did in very anonymous ways, and you brought no attention to yourself. And no one even knows to tell you thank you because they didn't see. But I want you to be reminded that God saw. God saw every single thing that you did. And it wasn't lost. There was no wasted steps. And so for all those things that no one else saw, that only you and God know, I just want to say thanks. And thank you for living your life the way that you live, in humility and service to others. I do hear many stories about the ways our listeners love, lead, and serve others, and it always inspires me. So friends, I pray at the end of the year, you will have a few moments at some point during the craziness of the holidays, just to sit back and be grateful for the ways that God used you, whether anyone told you thanks or not, that you would just be grateful that in His sovereignty, He allowed you to be a part of His kingdom plan. And I pray that would give you a lot of joy. And then I pray when you plug back in on January 2nd, probably, that you would have a renewed vision, not that somehow completely change the world, but just to be faithful in this next season, that this next year would find you faithful again, that you would know the next wise steps to take in your leadership or your organization or however it is that you're leading and serving, and you would be excited. You would be grateful for the opportunity you have. So friends, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a Happy New Year. And again, on behalf of myself and the entire team at Watermark Resources, thank you so much for the ways that you loved, led, and served this year. God bless you. We'll talk to you again next year.